Hello, welcome to the You Movement. I am B, and today is part 2 of all the work that needs to be done on this awakening path that we are currently on. If you didn't catch part 1, all about body work, please go watch that. That is vitally important. It is the numero uno of importance in any healing quest that I have found to be the most transformative for any issue that you are dealing with, is getting into the body. So please go watch part 1 entitled Body Work. Today I wanted to talk a little bit emotions, because I know for myself and for a lot of other people, a lot of emotions are bubbling to the surface with this spiritual awakening, Kundalini awakening, twin flame situationship. And I've had a lot of people contacting me, asking me, I don't know what to do. I'm in this emotion and I'm feeling overwhelmed and I want it to go away. How do I make it stop? And you don't. That's the answer to that question. You don't make it stop. I have said in many videos, and I will say in probably every single video that I ever produce, that feeling your feelings, allowing the emotions, is a necessary part of this ascension journey. In society, we have been made to feel like certain emotions are undesirable and unwelcomed, unwanted, and generally we have used everything under the sun to distract, deny, repress, distort, numb all of these emotions that are natural processes, natural functions of the human biocomputer that we are. In my Oracle read the other day, I went off on a little rant about emotions, and I'll just redo that rant briefly, in that if you want to deny so many emotions and only live in the top tier emotions, it's basically like saying, okay, I will allow myself to urinate in the morning and in the evening and not at all during the day, because that would be undesirable. And the outcome of denying your human form with its natural processes, its natural functions, is that you will get sick. You will get dis-ease, you will get illness, you will get discomfort, you will get disordered. And let's talk a little bit about all those disorders. A lot of these disorders that we are handed down, I question, and I'm not saying this in all of cases, there are certainly many, many cases out there where there are certainly disorders. But I wonder how many of the times when we are diagnosed with something, for example, like depression. I was diagnosed with major depressive disorder on and off for years, and I now fully believe with everything in me that that was a natural, normal, reasonable response to being abused. If you haven't watched or know my history, please feel free to hop on any of my other videos with the playlist Surviving Narcissism. I was raised by somebody who is undiagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder, but displayed all of the traits, and that diagnosis was handed to me by my counselor, not her counselor, because a narcissist will never seek counseling because they don't think anything's wrong with them. No, it's us. It's us. It's the people on the other end of the spectrum, the scapegoats, the empaths, the people pleasers, the fawners, the people that are reliving the trauma that's been programmed and embedded into their nervous system through their whole life, and attracting more of these insane situations into them, like marrying people that have these types of characteristics: lying, cheating, manipulation, gaslighting. I've done some videos on gaslighting. If you don't know what that is, please educate yourself so that you're aware that this is even a thing. And when you're being in a state of constant, long-term, prolonged, chronic mental and emotional, neglectful abuse that can go into the physical realms for sure, then it's normal to respond to such situations or stimuli to be depressed, despondent, anxious, nervous, frustrated, angry. All of those are natural human responses that the nervous system is going, zing, 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 something's wrong, something's wrong. And when we deny or utilize a diagnosis to say, well, that's the problem, we're not ever getting to the root cause of the problem. We're not getting into the depths of, well, why am I depressed? And listen, I spent 30 more than years in and out of every type of counseling office there is, researching left, right, and center, wanting to understand why I suffered, what was the root cause of suffering. And the one main topic that never came up was that of trauma. And the trauma that we all carry with us. And we all have trauma, all of us. There's not a single person out there, I don't believe, who has trauma. We have varying degrees of trauma. Gabor Mate would describe it as big T trauma and little t trauma. And, you know, the big T traumas are obvious: sexual abuse and physical abuse and prolonged narcissistic abuse. And the small t traumas might be failing math tests and feeling or being ridiculed or being bullied, you know, smaller degree, but still trauma. We have trauma from passed down through the lineages, through our generations, which is generational trauma. We have cultural traumas that we still carry with us. The native populations are a good example of that. And the effects of colonialism has left a lasting trauma that permeates through entire cultures. Then there's religious trauma and all kinds of other little mini traumas that one might experience. Car accidents and different specific situations that got lodged into our memory as a child. And at the age and stage that we were at, we couldn't handle it. We couldn't process it logically. We couldn't process it emotionally. And so those emotions got locked away in us. And then through cultural and societal expectations of what is deemed normal, acceptable, we go through a process of further repressing our emotional centers because we are indoctrinated with such beliefs like boys don't cry, which has really done a major disservice to the masculine energy in our wholeness. You know, there's a lot of wounded masculines walking around completely disconnected from their emotions. Then we have others like women shouldn't be mad, or women should be pleasant and smile. You know, you look much better if you smiled more. Because being angry or being in your masculine, which women have, if you have a masculine that's in wounded energy and then a feminine that has to pick up the slack from that wounded energy, she's going to overcompensate by being in her own masculine energy and having to like fight and be in this world of patriarchal systems. And I have to provide for my family, and I have to do all the things, and I have to do the maintenance, and I have to do all this work. So then she's in her own wounded energy, repressing her own natural impulses and her own natural emotion systems. So overall, it's a little bit of a clusterfuck is what's happening, because we as a society are completely and utterly detached from this natural processes of emotions. So on this spiritual awakening, it's like having somebody coming along and opening that junk drawer that you have somewhere located in your house and dumping it all on the floor and saying, deal with this. Time's up. You have to deal with this now. And you're like, whoa, this is too much. I don't want to, how do I deal with this? This is everything I don't want to deal with. Well, the first thing that we have to learn to do is allow. In allowing the emotions without fear, without judgment, without ridicule, and not getting mad at ourselves or beating ourselves up for actually having these emotions that are surfacing, whatever the emotion may be, is the first necessary step, is learning that these are normal functions, accepting that these are normal functions, accepting and allowing the emotions to come and to pass. And You know, you won't be trapped in emotion for a long period of time if you're in the energy of allowing. If you're in the energy of allowing, whatever that emotion will be, it will come and fully allow it, and then it will pass a lot faster, because emotion is energy in motion. So it needs to be in motion to release, to get out, to purge. I think that Shrek needs to be added to the list of top spiritual leaders, because the one truth that he shared with the world is better out than in. And that certainly holds true in regards to emotions. So how can you allow? The teachings of Eckhart Tolle teach us all about being in the observer. And the observer is almost like you're in your higher self, looking down upon yourself and detaching yourself from the emotion to a certain degree, so that you can observe and say, okay, oh, I am in sadness right now. I am in grief right now. I am in anger right now. And I'm going to observe and hold space for myself. I don't know if you know that phrase, holding space for people. But when you are there for somebody else, as a friend, as a coach, as a family member, oftentimes somebody will come to us and emote their feelings, and all you have to do is hold space for them by listening. So this is reorienting yourself and teaching yourself to hold space for yourself. And say, I am allowing myself in this moment in time, and set a timer if you want, if it gets overwhelming. I find the use of timers very useful, because when you're going into an emotion that is an emotional flashback from an earlier time period, there is a sensation of being lost in eternity. There's a sensation of timelessness, and oh my God, I'm now in child mind and I'm forgetting everything I thought that I knew. And it can become very overwhelming. So a resource for assisting you get into observer, not only Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now, and I've mentioned countless times, is Pete Walker's book, Complex Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder, From Surviving to Thriving. And whether you think you have complex post-traumatic stress disorder or not is irrelevant. Please get this book. If you have any form of emotions, which is everyone, and any form of trauma, which is everyone, then please get this book and skip to chapter 8. Read the chapter on how to deal with the emotional flashbacks, because through the awakening process, you will be reliving certain experiences, memories from earlier in your life and earlier in other lifetimes as well. So you may not only be experiencing this lifetime's trauma, you may be experiencing past life traumas as well. So the more you can practice the process of allowing and observing, the more you're going to be able to allow that energy to be in motion and to transmute and to get out of you and to leave you, thus leaving you lighter, enlightening your system from carrying with you all these heavier emotions, therefore going through the process of enlightenment, which is a conscious evolution and spiritual maturation, because as each of these things comes up, what you're essentially doing is inner child work. So what is inner child work is very much, and I've done another video on this, and I'll put the link to that one specifically at the end of this video so that you can watch it, because it's hugely important on this journey. Because inner child work is all about reprogramming those lost aspects of selves. And through our traumas, it's like we become fractured. And each of those trauma fractures off a slice of us. And Carl Jung talks a lot about this, and understanding in that subconscious realm, we're influenced by those fractured aspects of selves without any realizing. So, you know, a situation can come about in our exterior world where we get really triggered by something, and that's our inner child acting up, maybe from a wound of abandonment, a wound of betrayal, a wound of bullying, a wound of being shut down, not allowed to speak. And we get highly triggered. So triggers are hugely important, and they are the gateway or the doorway to opening yourself to shadow work. Because when you have a trigger, it's like the doorbell ringing for healing, and that trigger comes in and announces itself. Oh my God, I feel so agitated. I feel annoyed. okay, well, what is it in this situation that is reminding me of an earlier wound? What is it bringing up in me? Sit in that energy, allow that energy, observe that energy, deep dive into the muck. We got to go into the muck to unfuck. And that's how we do it, is by utilizing the power of triggers. And everybody talks about triggers, so use your triggers. Those are opportunities for you. Oh, what is this situation trying to show me? What am I supposed to learn from this situation right now? That is what your trigger is all about. And the more you get into the process of, okay, a trigger's come in, I'm going to allow myself to feel the emotion that this trigger is bringing with it. I'm going to connect with my inner child to see what my inner child is trying to communicate to me. I'm going to reparent that inner child by not only not beating myself up, but allowing, by comforting, by soothing, by giving myself what that child needs. What did that child not get? What did you not get when that situation originally happened? The original wound happened. Oh, I wasn't comforted. I wasn't validated. I wasn't supported. I wasn't protected. Aha! Okay, so now I need to cultivate the energy of protection, of support, of validation, all of those things, and give it to you. Give it to you. Give it to you. Love, love, love the fuck out of yourself. Love yourself in those moments of trigger like you would your child, your best friend, your favorite person. This is how we process, or alchemize is the key word. Alchemization, transmutation is the key in when it deals to emotions. We are trying to take those emotions and turn them into something golden, turn them into the silver lining, the lesson learned, so that they can be fully released and we can reach a higher level of spiritual maturation and grow up a bit. We all as a society need to grow up. We're running around inner children with weaponry in our hands and it's all acting out inner child wounds and angers. So identify your emotion, and in the process of identifying your emotion and sitting with it, we can cultivate the opposing energies of what we need to do to transmute it. For example, if you're sad, you want to elevate the emotion. And so in allowing that sad to come and say, okay, in this sad, I'm going to allow this sad, but while I'm in this sad, I'm going to go out and I'm going to use able. I'm going to achieve something today to hack my brain chemistry so I'm not trapped in the sad. I'm going to do something that's going to bring a little bit of joy into my life while I'm sad. And maybe that may be doing some art or sketching or something like that. I'm going to love myself even though I am sad. I'm going to love and show myself compassion and show myself care while I'm sad. And I'm going to get into my body and exercise and go out walking even though I'm sad. I'm going to do some yin yoga for sadness. Maybe it's anger. And if you're in anger, you're trying to decrease that energy. You know, so sadness, we're wanting to increase our energy. Anger, we're wanting to decrease. So we need to transmute that anger. We need to release it so that we can bring our self back down into neutrality. Write yourself hate mail. Oh my God, please write the hate mail to the people that hurt you and don't give it to them. This is your chance to express all those, I hate you, you did this, and use your bad language. It doesn't matter. Burn that thing to transmute it when you're done with it. Go out into the middle of the country and scream and shout where there's nobody around. Ah! Get that anger up and out. To have a one-person mosh pit and dance, dance, dance. There's all kinds of ways to do that. Grief. Maybe you're in a lot of grief and you're grieving not just the loss of people, but the loss of the life that you didn't get to have, the loss of the childhood that you wish you had had, the loss of all of those things that you wish could have been, the dreams that didn't manifest, the hopes that didn't reach fruition. All of those things you want to be able to allow yourself to experience and comfort yourself through this process. Grief is not a 20-minute emotion. It lasts a long period of time. So the more you cry, it's like with each tear, celebrate each tear. That's one step closer to healing. I cried every single day for a year and a half on this spiritual awakening process. And you just kind of get used to it. Like you would sweat, and it's not a big deal. You're releasing. The stuff has to get up and out of you somehow. Fear. Fear is a very difficult emotion on this spiritual awakening process, but the ultimate goal is to feel the fear and do it anyways. Just keep going through it. All of those things that you're terrified of doing are the things that spirit and soul and God are going to push you to do. That is the mission, and it sucks kind of, because you'd much rather like just take it easy, be chill, be subdued, be in denial, watch the TV, be distracted, eat the donuts. I get it. I wanted to do all of those things as well. I did do all of those things. I did every distraction out there. I made it another funny video called God. We do all of these things because we don't want to sit in the emotions. We don't want to sit in these feelings that are uncomfortable. But on this spiritual journey, you're no choice. It's time's up. Karma's here to collect, and karma's going to sit you down and make you feel the feels, and it's going to take away the distractions. It's going to make it so you're too sick to be able to eat the foods that you used to use, or all of a sudden the pot's not going to work anymore because your anxiety levels are going through the roof. So all those little coping mechanisms that once worked for you are going to be taken away from you, stripped away from you, so that you can sit in those emotions, so you can feel the emotions, so you can allow the emotions, so you can observe the emotion, so you can transmute the emotion, so you can alchemize the emotion. And in so doing, we're all going to grow up. We're going to move our way up out of collective consciousness of ego and into a consciousness of heart, because we cultivate the practice of compassion for self and our emotions, loving self and our emotions. Then we can show up in the world and be more compassionate and loving to everyone else as well. So it affects the entire community, the entire collective as a whole. The more inner child work and shadow work and healing work that you do, the more energy is going to pour into you, the more light is going to pour into you. You are going to emanate that out to everyone else around you, giving them a permission slip to feel their feels. So don't get anxious about your anxiety. Don't get fearful about your fear. Let's just let it be. Let them come, do their things, express. If you need help with any particular emotion that you're struggling with, and I've got tools for every kind of emotion. They're all listed in the chakra playlist at the end of each of the diseases of the chakras. Please go check that out. Otherwise, post a comment below and just say, I'm struggling with this emotion, and I can do a video on that particular emotion, so everyone else can see, okay, these are some great tools to use for grief. And there are so many tools out there available to assist us with our emotions. Affirmations, journal work, counseling, co-counseling, which is just sitting with a friend and holding space and then letting them talk their stuff too. You know, two people coming together and doing co-counseling is very, very productive. Body work, get back into your body. The emotions are locked and stored in your body. So the more body work you do, the more the emotions are going to shift and move. It's like getting into those junk cabinets and clearing them out, and doing it through somatic movement, through yin yoga, through aligned walking, through dance. Throw on some music and just dance it out. There's a reason why that's a thing, and it's a thing because it works. So that said, I hope everybody is doing okay. The energies are constantly shifting and changing in very quick amount of time. So we want to ground ourselves as much as we possibly can, so that while we're processing through these emotions, we have a little bit of stability and feeling connected to the earth while we're going through all of this stuff. So thank you for all your comments, likes, and shares. I really, really appreciate that. As you know, we're getting closer and closer. Each day it grows. More and more people are subscribing, and that means the absolute world to me. If you want to book a one-on-one to deal with any of these emotions that you happen to be struggling with, or any of the other issues that I help assist people with, narcissistic abuse and shadow work, inner child work, traumas that you have going on that you've been stuck in for a long period of time and don't feel like you're getting any improvement and want to try something a little bit different, send me off an email. The way to do that is in the description box below. There's a donate button there that leads you. Please, reasonable donations are very appreciated. That's keeping me and my family afloat right now. And let's book a one-on-one Zoom call. Or if you want to do an oracle read and just see what Spirit has to say to you, let's book that. That can be done as well through those same links below. The donation link as well as an email link. So let me know what you are wanting to do in the email. And finally, if you're interested in some distance healing so that some of those emotions can get cleared out through the quantum field, that is something that I can do. I am a qualified Reiki Master and Teacher, and I have, through the last year or two, created my own unique type of distance healing work that I do that is utilizing not only Reiki and the things that I know, but intuitive guidance through the processes of music. I connect to you much stronger through music, through your playlist. So in that email, please attach your favorite band or your Spotify playlist. So we'll set up a time when you can relax and just be at ease, and I'll connect into the energy and intuitively do some Reiki, sending some Reiki onto you and get whatever guidance intuitively sent from Spirit. So that all said, hope you have a super awesome day. Get outside, get some sunshine on your face, get your aligned walking on. Be the warrior that you are. I am so proud of all you guys for quitting all the stuff that you're quitting and reporting back to me, sending me your before and after shots of, this was me 3 years ago and I quit sugar and now look at me, or I'm quit cigarettes and now look at me, and I'm quitting pot, now look at me. I am so excited to see this movement grow, because it's a community movement, and the more each of us steps into our own personal power, authenticity, truth, and integrity, and align with soul, the more all of humanity is benefited. So you are doing the work of light workers. Be damn proud of yourself, because I'm proud of you for what you've accomplished and what you are doing and showing up every single day, doing the hard slog, going into the muck, and doing what you need to do to learn, to reprogram, reparent, and love the fuck out of yourselves. Peace out.